But I go, can I just try another one? That moment comes and I just go, this is Sparta!
You thought 300 was just an epic action film. Think again. Behind the legendary roar of This is Sparta was a grueling nightmare of pain, blood, and broken bodies. For the first time ever, Gerard Butler pulls back the curtain on the brutal truth of what really happened on set, from hospital runs to near physical collapse. This wasn't acting, it was survival. Most fans had no clue just how real the battle became. If you think you know 300, prepare to see it through a whole new lens. This story will leave you stunned and inspired. When 300 was released in March 2007, no one expected it to explode the way it did. Directed by Zack Snyder and based on the graphic novel by Frank Miller, the film didn't rely on Hollywood's biggest names. Instead, it presented a hyper-stylized, raw vision of the Battle of Thermopylae, one that captured imaginations with dramatic lighting, relentless action, and a world unlike anything cinema had seen before. On its opening weekend, the film earned an astonishing $70 million. Eventually, it would gross over $456 million worldwide. It was more than a hit, it was a cultural moment, but that success came at a heavy cost. Behind the epic visuals were brutal realities. Gerard Butler described the set of 300 as a place of constant injuries. Every day, somebody was getting taken to the hospital, he admitted. The actors were required to perform their own stunts, often using dulled but still dangerous weapons. One day, a spear nearly took out an actor's eye. Another day, someone broke their ankle. These weren't isolated incidents, they were daily occurrences. The set became a battlefield of its own. This relentless demand for realism was driven by Zack Snyder's vision. He wanted the action to look and feel authentic. That meant fewer stunt doubles and more physical risk. The cast endured endless takes, performing complex fight choreography in heavy armor while surrounded by blue screens. The physical toll was unimaginable. Real bruises, torn muscles, exhaustion, and mental fatigue were all part of the job. What the audience saw as choreographed heroism was built on intense, punishing labor. Long before filming began, the transformation into Spartan warriors had already started. The cast, led by Gerard Butler, trained under elite fitness expert Mark Twight at Jim Jones. The training was unlike anything typical in Hollywood. It was a 7-month grind of intense physical preparation that pushed the actors to their breaking points. Butler trained for up to 6 hours a day, enduring CrossFit circuits, weightlifting, martial arts, and sword fighting drills. The training wasn't just about building muscle. It was about developing the kind of functional strength and endurance a real Spartan warrior would have needed. This now famous 300 workout wasn't for the faint of heart. It included tire flips, kettlebell swings, obstacle courses, and high-rep circuits designed to destroy limits. The goal wasn't simply to look strong, it was to become strong. According to Gerard Butler, the experience nearly wrecked his body. He suffered tendinitis, hip damage, and a torn rotator cuff. At times, he could barely lift his arms. Yet he kept going, driven by a relentless desire to embody King Leonidas in every way, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. The training didn't stop once cameras rolled. On set, the actors were constantly working out between takes to maintain their physiques. Some even performed the full 300 workout during filming days. The physical pain became fuel for their performances. For Butler, the suffering was essential. He later revealed that the exhaustion and pain helped him tap into the intensity of Leonidas, turning each line and battle cry into something real. He wasn't pretending to be a Spartan king, he was living it. The film 300 was shot entirely in a studio in Montreal, not on real locations. Director Zack Snyder relied heavily on blue screen technology and advanced digital effects to recreate the mythic, larger-than-life world of ancient Sparta. The studio environment was anything but glamorous. It was hot, cramped, and intensely artificial. The lighting setup, essential for achieving the film's signature high contrast, golden glow, turned the set into a virtual oven. Gerard Butler even fainted from heat and dehydration during filming. Despite the physical strain, the cast had to deliver their performances with full emotional intensity, often reacting to nothing but empty space or markers on green screens. The world around them, the sprawling landscapes, violent battles, blood, and gore would only come to life later, during the lengthy post-production process. One particularly surreal example of Snyder's visionary direction was the Oracle scene. Her cryptic dialogue was largely improvised to maintain an ethereal, hypnotic quality. Snyder didn't just want realism, he wanted something symbolic, dreamlike, and otherworldly. The result was a scene that felt haunting and timeless, like a vision pulled straight from mythology. This was the essence of 300. It was never meant to be a textbook retelling of history. It was a stylized, almost operatic portrayal of honor, sacrifice, and glory, a living myth made visual through cutting-edge techniques and bold creative choices. Amid all the challenges, something remarkable happened behind the scenes. A deep bond formed among the cast. Gerard Butler, Michael Fassbender, Lena Headey, Dominic West, and David Wenham weren't just co-stars, they became a true team. Months of brutal physical training didn't just sculpt their bodies, it forged trust, discipline, and an unshakable sense of unity. They suffered together, sweated together, and encouraged each other through moments of exhaustion and doubt. Butler often spoke about this connection with great passion. He described how they fed off one another's energy, how they developed a kind of silent understanding through their shared struggles. By the time filming began, they had already survived their own personal battle. That bond translated to the screen. The Spartans' camaraderie and loyalty weren't just scripted, they were real. And that authenticity is what gave 300 its emotional power, making it more than just a visual spectacle. It became a story of brotherhood that resonated with audiences around the world. Beyond the film itself, 300 launched a global fitness revolution. The look of the Spartan warriors, lean, ripped, battle-ready, captured public imagination. Men around the world began chasing the Spartan physique. The 300 workout, originally designed for the cast, became a global trend. It was featured in fitness magazines like Men's Health and adopted by gyms everywhere. Some fans tried to complete the full routine 300 reps without rest and found it nearly impossible. The standard had changed. Muscular endurance, discipline, and aesthetics all took on new meaning. The film also sparked discussions about masculinity, honor, and courage. The warriors of Sparta became symbols of sacrifice, brotherhood, and defiance. Quotes like "This is Sparta" transcended the movie, becoming viral memes, social media content, and motivational slogans. 300 entered pop culture in a way few films ever had. Academically, 300 didn't just entertain, it ignited minds. The film sparked a renewed global interest in ancient history, especially the Battle of Thermopylae. Bookstores saw a dramatic surge in sales of Herodotus' histories, the original account of the Spartans' last stand. In classrooms and lecture halls, professors began integrating 300 into syllabi, not to praise its historical accuracy, but to use it as a vivid comparison between myth and fact. While historians were quick to point out its creative liberties, many also admitted one important thing: the film got students talking about classical history again. For a new generation, it made the ancient world feel thrilling, visceral, and most importantly, relevant. 300 was more than a box office hit, it was a turning point for both director Zack Snyder and actor Gerard Butler. Snyder's bold choice to replicate Frank Miller's graphic novel frame by frame, paired with stylized violence, intense color contrasts, and slow-motion sequences, created a unique visual style. This signature approach carried into his later films like Watchmen, Man of Steel, and Justice League, reshaping modern superhero cinema. For Gerard Butler, 300 was life-changing. Before playing King Leonidas, he was a talented but under-recognized actor. His fierce, commanding performance, especially his iconic shout, "This is Sparta," instantly made him a global star. The role highlighted his physicality and emotional intensity, traits he continued to showcase in diverse films like P.S. I Love You, Law-Abiding Citizen, and Olympus Has Fallen. Despite exploring various genres, Butler always carried the warrior spirit of Leonidas, and he embraced that legacy. 300 remains a cultural touchstone, quoted, studied, and admired. It redefined historical epics, not through strict realism, but through mythic storytelling and raw performance. At its heart, 300 is a tale of transformation, of artists pushing boundaries, of actors becoming icons, and of a film daring to be different and becoming legendary for it. So the next time you hear that legendary roar, "This is Sparta," remember, it wasn't just a line. It was forged in pain, discipline, and unbreakable brotherhood. If this story gave you a new perspective, like, share, and subscribe for more untold truths behind Hollywood's most iconic moments. Sparta lives on through you. Thanks for watching.